What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another video. Today I'll be going over the price action from December 8th through 12th, going over the trades that I took, any wins, losses, and the lessons in between as always. But without further ado, let's just hop right into Monday's price action and go over the trades that I took. Alright, so this is Monday, December the 8th price action. This higher time frame to get the bias. I was leaning bullish on the day as we were respecting 4-hour gaps right here and here. And then we had clear draws higher, being this closer high, and then these two external highs. Let's jump down to the lower time frame and go into the first trade that I took. Alright, so this is the first trade that I took. This was a loss. But the reason I've taken this trade, I was bullish on the day. I wanted to see this sell side liquidity or this sell side liquidity taken, and then targeting these external highs, the draws above that we talked about. So at opening bell, we moved up, we swept out this buy side liquidity, creating an SMT with ES right here. But I was still leaning bullish because we edged this buy side, creating relative equal highs. So I thought there was a clear draw above. So after resweeping the New York AM low on the 30-second time frame, we had this inversion for value gap right here, and a pretty big, nice displacement candle. This was just a loss, but the lessons I took away from this trade was if I'm going to take 30-second inversions, which I'm still not as comfortable with, but if I'm going to take 30-second inversions, I want the price structure of the leg to be a lot more clear and obvious, something like this. Right here, and then the 30-second inversion like that, rather than just a big leg and a 30-second inversion right here, if that makes sense. I found this one to be way more probable and higher win rate rather than this. So the lesson from this trade was if I'm going to take 30 seconds, I want clear price structure, clear legs. But the displacement was nice on this trade. So I'm going to jump forward to the next trade that I took, and then I'll catch you up on the price action. All right, so this is the second trade of the day. This is still Monday, December the 8th. This was a short towards the draws lower, but going over this trade, after the first loss, we continue to sweep the sell side. We swept Asia low. We started chopping around for a little bit, but then we started displacing lower. And during this time, we flipped a 1-hour fair value gap to the downside. So I flipped my bias to be bearish. So I was just looking for continuation short. We did actually create the 5-minute fair value gap right here. Retraced into the 5-minute fair value gap, and the highest time frame inversion was just a 2-minute. So this was just more of a simple continuation that we've gone over before, just another continuation trade. Retrace into the 5-minute, highest time frame inversion, targeting the New York AM low. The lessons out of this trade was I went break even at NQ's low right here, NQ's internal low. And then I did TP when ES swept out the New York AM low. I believe live during this trade, ES swept it out first, creating an SMT temporarily. And so I closed my position on NQ when ES swept out that low, since it was at my target. But going over both trades, the lessons from the day was the 30-second price structure has to be really clean. Clear legs, and it can't be just one ginormous big leg and a 30-second at the bottom of it. And then this other trade was just a simple continuation towards the draws of liquidity lower. So I'm going to jump over to Tuesday, and I'll see you guys there. All right, boys, I'm here on Tuesday, December 9th price action. I did take one trade for the day. It was a winning trade, and let's go over the bias and the trade that I took. So going into today, I was super clearly bearish. We were inversing these bullish gaps right here and respecting bearish gaps right here on the 1 hour. And it's a little easier to see on the 4 hour as well. We were respecting this one. And then we like disrespecting this big one right here. We also had previous day low intact at the time. So I was looking for a previous day low. This is right here on NQ. This was about the only level I could have seen us sweeping to go towards previous day low as a target. And I was almost thinking today that we were just going to take previous day low. So I'll just quick show you guys that. We actually ended up edging this 5-minute intermediate high and not sweeping it, and then immediately going towards previous day low. So it would have had to been like a 30-second or something, but we didn't end up taking the high. And so I actually took my trade on ES, so I'm going to go over to ES now and fast forward to my trade again, and I'll show you guys the trade I took. Okay, so after we swept out previous day low on NQ and not on ES, we had an SMT at the lows right there. Today was kind of extremely choppy, but we ended up going up, sweeping London high, pulling back a little bit, and right here we had an SMT with NQ. So there was some manipulation going on, and on NQ, excuse me, I saw all this built up LR to the downside, and on ES we had a 15-minute gap and a 5-minute gap. So the trade idea for this was there was a bunch of failure swings on NQ. There was an SMT at the high and a 15-minute and a 5-minute below. So I was looking for some sort of rebalance towards these gaps and taking out the LR below. So after we formed this SMT, it was just an inverse for value gap right here. And I was just targeting the low-hanging fruit. So this wasn't like a continuation. This was a manipulation trade, inverse for value gap towards 15-minute and 5-minute below. And that was the only trade I took for Tuesday, December the 9th. And so I'm going to go into Wednesdays now, and I'll see you guys there. Okay, really quick before we go to Wednesday's price action, the lessons from today actually. I wanted to be way more reactionary off of this previous day low sweep. It was about the last liquidity level that we could have gone to before probably going up. And so I wasn't very reactionary off this V-shaped recovery. I really wanted to take the trade, but I just never pulled the trigger myself. But yeah, going into the next trades that I take, definitely be more reactionary off liquidity levels and like higher time frame for value gaps. But basically the lesson was going forward, just see if we're displacing through the level or if we're reacting off of it and just act accordingly. So I just want to quick say that before we go into Wednesdays. But yeah, that's it. All right, guys, I have Wednesday, December 10th price action pulled up here. I took 2 trades today. One was a loss, one was a win. So it was break-even day. Wednesday was FOMC day, and I do have some lessons about it that I'll talk about at the end. But spoiler alert, probably just don't trade FOMC like before news events because it's super choppy here. Like I'll just show you price action on the 5-minute. It's not like extremely choppy, but there's just a bunch of wicks and no delivery towards anywhere. So you can get caught up in it. But let's go over the trades I took. We do need NQ and ES. I'll just quick show you here. The first trade I took, after chopping around for the first part of the day, we created an SMT at these lows here, right here and here. And I took the trade on ES, so I'll show you that now. So after creating an SMT at the lows, having some manipulation, there's this 5-minute inversion for value gap with LR on the 1-minute time frame above, right here. This was the 5-minute inverse happening on the 1-minute, and this is the LR. And then we had data highs, London highs, and New York PM highs above. This trade just ended up losing, and the lessons I took from this trade was basically, honestly, maybe just don't trade FOMC days, like the AM session at least. But also a pretty important thing that that was going on was, even though we had this SMT at these 2 obvious lows or like prominent lows, we didn't sweep out previous day low on NQ yet. And that's a really big draw of liquidity. And I took a trade longing before the previous day low was swept, and we ended up going to take previous day low. And so that was kind of the lesson there. The second trade was pretty much similar. We had another SMT at the lows right here and here. I took it on ES again, but the main difference was now we actually swept out previous day low, and there weren't any more like draws lower in my opinion. So we had manipulation. We took out the previous day low. We had manipulation with the SMT, and then we had really strong and clear displacement. And then the highest time frame inversion was this 4-minute. And I was still liking all the failure swings to the upside. I was liking all the LR to the upside and the data high that I thought was going to be taken. And so I took this 4-minute inversion. This trade ended up winning, but I do have some lessons I need to go over with this trade. It was technically after my session a little bit, and I'm only supposed to trade the New York AM session. And so I personally want to just be more disciplined in that. I know it's a winning trade or whatever, but discipline in your actions will lead to consistent profitability, in my opinion. And so I journaled that, and I just want to stick to my rules. But the reason I took this trade, previous day low was taken out on NQ, SMT, 4-minute inversion. And then the other thing was I ended up trimming half my contracts at this data high because I knew we were going to react off of a data high, obviously. And I ended up holding the rest of my contracts towards London high. So I was in this trade basically like way too long, forever. It's not normal price delivery. It's not what I usually see with my trades. So just a lot of things with this trade that I'm not extremely proud of. Being it was after my session. I ended up trimming contracts, holding the trade for super long. Usually my winning trades just deliver right away. With lower RR, higher win rate style of trading. So definitely journaled this, definitely going to correct this. And then overall, I mean, for Wednesday, FOMC day, I can just say just don't trade FOMC. Don't trade before the news events. And don't gamble FOMC unless you're in a position to, like people who traded the news. But all right, I'm going to jump over to Thursday. Alrighty. All right. Okay, boys, I got Thursday, December 11th price action pulled up here. I ended up being red on the day, and I will go over the trades that I took. There was one really good trade that I liked. The other one, not it. But let's go over the trade I took on ES. Okay, so this is on ES right here. Basically, this trade, after we swept out this obvious low from pre-market, and we had a really clear big displacement candle on the 1 minute that inversed this fair value gap right here. And this was a break-even trade. I really liked the displacement live during this trade. Yeah, this was like a trade I would take over and over and over again, like 10 times out of 10, basically saying I like the trade. But we ended up getting break-even here. I was targeting all this LR built up to the upside. I wanted to see the complete LR taken, but we had a clear, obvious break-even level. And then displacement was super clean after a sweep of the lows, trying to be like reactionary. But after this ES break-even trade, I took a trade on NQ. This is the trade that I didn't like that I want to talk about. So right here we had a re-sweep, an SMT at the lows, and then a 1 minute inversion. But in reality, what's going on, the lesson about this trade is it's chopping right here, and I got caught in chop as a pattern trade just because we have to inverse this 1 minute gap that's, first of all, extremely tiny. There's no price structure right here. And that's why I love doing these journals and making these videos, because I'm just looking at this trade and I want to improve. And this is just bad price structure. There's no good price structure. It's just a pattern trade of an inverse gap with a resweep with an SMT, just trying to get this little high right here. Like, no, this wasn't a good trade. This was a pattern trade. Deserved to lose this one and learn from it. But there's only one more trade of the day that I want to talk about. So after the first break-even trade that I was really happy with, and then the loss, we're continuing the day and we start displacing lower. And so the bias is clear and obvious now, as it wasn't really super obvious before. But I wanted to get any continuation towards these draws of liquidity lower that we had from Thursday. And I just never ended up getting any continuations. And then I actually never got any MAC model longs from the levels as well. We ended up creating relative equal lows at this Asia low. We just edged it by a couple points. So I wasn't able to take any continuations from like 5 or 15s to it. And I wasn't able to take any reversals rebalancing the leg because we never ended up sweeping it. So that was a little frustrating, but I need to keep my emotions in check throughout the trading day for sure. But basically, after we edge the Asia low, we start going into the 5 and 15 minute gaps. We end up inversing them, so we can't take any continuations like I was saying. And then we retrace to a 15-minute gap right here. And I took a 5-minute inverse to the downside right here on this candle with the clear, obvious break-even point. I was pretty confident we were going to get break-even at least on this trade. So that's why I took the trade, hoping that we would go take out the relative equal lows at a prominent draw of liquidity. But I ended up getting break-even on this trade. So it is what it is. I mean, I just want to take the lessons out from today of waiting until there's clear price structure and honestly just sticking to my setup to a T. The first trade was really good. It was a reactionary trade, but the second one is kind of the one I'd take back. The price structure was like, it was a mess. So good to journal that, but let's go into the last day and wrap up this video. Let's go to Friday. All right, guys, I got Friday's price action. The last day we'll go over. I took a lot of trades today, and I need to go over it. But yeah, the first trade I took was on ES, and let's get into the lessons from these trades and what was going on with them. So on ES, we have this liquidity level right here that we just swept out, and I took this trade. Okay. Took this trade right here, and the lesson I want to go over with this trade, it was like a mech model trade, so we swept liquidity, rebalancing to 5 minute hopefully with break even level. The structure on this trade was a little bit better. The displacement was really good too. But going break even right here, like right after you enter, is just getting asked to get break even. And also I was kind of unclear on my bias at the time, like going into the day, and also kind of right here. And so I don't know. Basically, what I'm saying is I just need to be better about my bias, better about the trades I'm taking, just following the plan like fully. Because I remember this day I was a little emotional, if I remember correctly. But this was the first trade I took. It was a break-even trade. But just the lesson was, making sure that the trades make sense logically, and that if you go break-even, you're not just going to get stopped out right away. Because what's even the point with that? But let's go over to NQ because that was where I took the rest of the trades. So after displacing lower, I had a better bias on the day finally, and this was kind of similar to Thursday, but I was just looking for continuations towards previous day low that we never got, or I was looking for mech models off of previous day low, and that we never got that as well. But we ended up pushing lower through previous day low, and so the ideal scenario was continuation towards the draw or mech model off of the draw towards the 5 and 15 minute gaps. We didn't get any of those. We ended up continuing lower towards a 1 hour level. And so I was just trying to find a level that we were maybe going to reverse off of to rebalance the overall big move down. We ended up bouncing off of this 1 hour level. Now I took this trade on the 2 minute. This was a Mac model off this 1 hour level, 2 minute inverse for value gap, break even at this 5 minute and targeting this 15 minute above. And then this one was a break even trade as well. And it was kind of crazy because immediately after I got break even on this trade, I ended up taking a short because I was noticing we were like not displacing through this 5 minute and we were kind of respecting it. And overall, we were just bearish on the day. And after I saw this candle right here print, I got in for shorts, just targeting low-hanging fruit. On the 30-second time frame, we just had all these failure swings that and this, you can see the resweep better right here. I just thought these were all going to get taken out super fast. But I was kind of emotional entering this trade. As you can imagine, I was just in a long, got break even, targeting up here. And then now I'm just instantly entering a short. I just remember being kind of emotional. This trade ended up winning, so I was up on the day with break evens and a win. But yeah, so a lot of lessons from this week. But going forward, I just want to stick to my model more simply. How do I say this? I just want to stick to my model more simple. Just doing the clear and obvious things. If I have to guess about it, I'm probably going to lean towards not taking it. Making sure there's good price structure in all the legs that I'm taking. Yeah, just sticking to the model, highest time frame inversion, reacting off of liquidity to see if we're displacing through or V-shape recovering. But this week taught me a lot. It taught me not to be emotional. As previously before, I've been winning or getting break even a lot. This week I took more losses than normal. And since I felt like I wasn't as sharp as I could have been because I've just been winning more often recently. And so I need to not forget how a profitable trader will act when losses come, because losses are a part of the game. It's not just 100% win rate. And with the wins I've been having previously before, I haven't had to deal with it, and my skills were like dull in this area. So I need to stay sharp in that. Just continue to not be emotional. Just follow the model, because at the end of the day, the actions is what's going to lead towards profitability. It's not like something you just suddenly get. It's an everyday action. So that was a little rant, but those are all the wins, losses, break-evens, and lessons for this week of price action. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please comment down below anything like the trades that you took or any feedback from my video or the trades that I took. But yeah, I will see you guys next week after another full week of trading. And, you know, I'm just going to go into next week trying to really take in these lessons and following what I say in my journal and trying to improve. But yeah. All right, boys. I'll see you guys later. Peace.